Israel is paying influencers $7,000 per post on social media platforms. And I found this just on the Foreign Agents Registration Act. There's this firm which registered very recently in the last few months called Bridges Partners, which really is kind of a ghost. Like, there's no information online about this firm, no LinkedIn page, no website. I've tried to reach out to the few people that we know are connected with it. But what was detailed in that filing with the Department of Justice was that they are overseeing this cohort of influencers that are being paid by Israel. And we're in the middle of the program right now, actually, and it's going to be running through November, at which point, it could be renewed. We don't know. But I think what's important for people to know about this is that we don't actually know as of right now who the influencers are. But essentially, what we do know is that this is a $900,000 contract. There's between 14 and 18 influencers that are part of this program. And I think this is the first indication. I mean, we know that Israel has flown out influencers. They've met with them in the past. But I think this is the first real smoking gun that they are actually not only doing that, but paying influencers directly to post on behalf of Israel. And again, they're not identifying themselves and when they're posting on social media, they're also not identifying that those posts are distributed on behalf of a foreign government, in this case, Israel.
So much of this is taking place right out in the open, and yet a lot of it is material that isn't being reported, things that need to be found through a lot of journalistic digging, like you just demonstrated. But oftentimes they're things that the Israelis say right out in the open, or their proxies in the United States say right out in the open. Just to give a couple of examples, right before the United States Congress voted to ban TikTok or force its sale, it's something that the Democrats got on board with, that Joe Biden got on board with after October 7th. The chairman of the ADL, Jonathan Greenwald, went on MSNBC and said, look, there's too much anti-Israel criticism being allowed on TikTok. It has to be shut. And then weeks later, they obeyed that order. The Congress did and voted to ban it. Then Jonathan Greenwald, after Donald Trump won, it was clear that there would have to be a forced sale of TikTok, went to speak to his supervisors in Tel Aviv and gathered them all there and said, look, the most important war that we have right now is not against Hezbollah or against Hamas. The most important war is making sure that we conquer TikTok, that we control TikTok. And now here we are just a few months later, and the largest single donor to the IDF, Larry Ellison, the multi-billionaire fanatical supporter of Israel, is now in control of TikTok. And I think you're absolutely right. When the Israelis are throwing millions of dollars around, there are a lot of people who are smelling that money and coming in with PowerPoint presentations, talking the buzz of social media influencing to people who probably don't understand it very well, and a lot of it is just profit driven, but clearly a lot of it is propagandistic. And you had a really interesting anecdote about an influencer who went there and kind of came back with his mind completely changed. And this has been something that I've been trying to get people to understand for a long time. Israel will pay almost anybody with influence to go and visit Israel. We see all the time members of our Congress going over there instead of going to their home district. They make their pilgrimage to Israel. They spend their summer recess there, a traditional time when they used to go and have town halls with their constituents. Now they go to Israel. And Israel has very specific programs for almost every kind of person. So if you're like a progressive and you go over there, you're going to get a progressive tour. If you're a corporatist and you're interested in startups in Silicon Valley, they have a special one for you. If you're black, if you're gay, if you're a feminist, all different ones for you. And a lot of people wonder why people like Richie Torres, who represents the single poorest district in the United States, spends so much of his time spouting Zionist talking points. He made those trips to Israel, and they show him gay bars in Tel Aviv, and then films about what Hamas does to gay people. There's all kinds of these conversions that happen as a result of these trips that are very scientifically geared towards specific demographics.